The small silver ship crashed into the rocky surface of asteroid mining station XK-47 with a terrible sound of breaking metal. Smoke rose from the wreck as silence returned to the empty space rock. Princess Lyrale of the Great Zephyrian Empire opened her eyes slowly. Her head hurt badly, and she could taste blood in her mouth. The princess tried to move but felt sharp pain in her left arm. She was still inside the crashed ship, hanging upside down in her safety seat. Guards? She called out weakly. Captain Vex? Anyone? Only silence answered her. Lyrale looked around the broken cabin. Her royal guards were not moving. Captain Vex was slumped over the controls, blood on his blue forehead. The ship's lights flickered on and off, making scary shadows on the walls. The princess managed to free herself from the safety belt and fell to what used to be the ceiling. Every part of her body hurt. She crawled over to Captain Vex and checked. If he was still alive, his heart was beating, but very slowly. The guards were also alive but would not wake up. Lyrale tried to use the ship's communication system, but it was completely broken. The main engines were dead too. Through a cracked window, she could see they had crashed inside some kind of building. The air outside looked strange and green. This is very bad, she whispered to herself. The Zephyrian princess knew about mining asteroids. They were dangerous places with poison air and no natural atmosphere. Without working life support, they would all die soon. She tried to fix the ship's air system, but sparks flew out when she touched the controls. Suddenly, she heard footsteps coming from outside the ship. Heavy boots on metal floors. Lyrale's heart beat faster. Who could be on this empty asteroid? Hello, is someone in there? Called a voice in basic galactic language, but with a strange accent. Lyrale had never heard an accent like that before. Yes, we need help. We are hurt. I'm coming in. Don't worry. A figure appeared at the broken ship door. Lyrale gasped when she saw him. He was a human, one of those strange two-legged creatures from the outer planets. She had heard about humans, but never seen one up close. They were supposed to be a weak species that other aliens barely tolerated. The human was wearing dirty work clothes and had short brown hair. His skin was darker than most aliens she knew, and he had kind brown eyes. He carried a toolbox in one hand and a medical kit in the other. My name is Marcus Chen, he said. Climbing carefully into the wreck. I'm an engineer here. Are you badly hurt? Lyrale stared at him. Humans were supposed to be selfish and not very smart, but this one seemed truly worried about strangers. My arm is hurt, but my guards need help more than me. Marcus immediately went to check on the unconscious guards. He opened his medical kit and began treating their wounds with gentle, careful hands. Lyrale watched in surprise as he worked. The human used his supplies on aliens he had never met before, without asking for anything in return. You are being very kind, Lyrale said softly. Why are you helping us? Marcus looked at her while bandaging a guard's head wound. Because you need help. That's reason enough, isn't it? The princess felt confused. In Zephyrian culture, you only help family or allies. Helping strangers, especially other species, was considered foolish. But this human acted like it was the most natural thing in the world. What is this place? She asked. Asteroid mining station XK-47. Marcus replied, now checking Captain Vex's injuries. It was abandoned 3 months ago when the mining company found better deposits elsewhere. I stayed behind to shut down the systems safely. He paused and looked worried. But there's a problem, a big problem. What kind of problem? Marcus pulled out a small device that beeped softly. The life support system is failing. Your ship's crash damaged the main power line. We have maybe 6 hours of breathable air left, and the backup generators won't last much longer. Lyrale felt cold fear in her stomach. 6 hours? But rescue ships won't reach us for at least 2 days. No. Marcus finished treating Captain Vex and came over to examine her injured arm. But don't worry. I'll figure something out. How can you be so calm? Lyrale asked as Marcus carefully checked her arm. His touch was gentle, and she noticed his hands were steady despite the terrible situation. Panic never fixed anything, Marcus said simply. Your arm isn't broken, just badly bruised. I'll make a sling for it. He began wrapping her arm with medical tape. Tell me about your ship. What kind of engines does it use? Quantum plasma drives with trilithium crystals. Standard Zephyrian technology. Lyrale winced as he adjusted the sling. But they're completely destroyed. Marcus nodded thoughtfully. What about emergency power? There should be backup cells, but they only work with Zephyrian systems. Nothing else is compatible. We'll see about that. Marcus helped her stand up. I need to show you something. He led her outside the crashed ship into the mining station. Lyrale gasped when she saw the size of the place. It was huge, with machines and equipment everywhere. But everything looked old and different from what she knew. This is all human technology, Marcus explained, seeing her amazed expression. We build it to work in places where other species' equipment fails. Human engineering is. Different how? Marcus smiled, and Lyrale noticed it was a warm, hopeful smile despite their dangerous situation. We don't always follow the rules. Sometimes we make things work by trying crazy ideas that shouldn't work at all. He showed her to a workstation, covered with tools and computer screens. I've been thinking, maybe I can connect your ship's backup power to our life support system. It would mean combining Zephyrian and human technology in ways that have never been tried before. Lyrale stared at him. That's impossible. Our technologies are completely incompatible. Every expert in the galaxy knows that. Marcus picked up a strange tool she didn't recognize. Well, I'm not an expert. I'm just an engineer who doesn't like the word impossible. He looked at her with those kind brown eyes. Will you help me try? The princess felt something she had never felt before. Hope, mixed with curiosity about this strange human who refused to give up when any reasonable person would accept their fate. Yes, she said quietly. I'll help you. Outside the station. The poisonous green mist swirled around them, and the clock was ticking. But for the first time since the crash, Princess Lyrale believed they might actually survive this. She just didn't know yet how much this human would change everything. Word count 1,000 to 100. Marcus Chen stared at the broken life support panel, his brown eyes moving quickly over the blinking warning lights. Red numbers on the screen showed they had 5 hours and 37 minutes of air left. The countdown was getting faster. According to Zephyrian engineering principles, this cannot be fixed, Princess Lyrale said softly. She sat nearby, watching Marcus work. Her injured arm rested in the sling he had made. Our backup power cells use quantum energy patterns. Your human systems use simple electrical power. They cannot connect. Marcus pulled apart a control panel and looked inside. Wires and crystals sparkled in the light. Maybe they can't connect the normal way, he said, but there might be another way. What do you mean? The human engineer picked up a small Zephyrian power cell from the crashed ship. It was no bigger than his hand, but it glowed with soft blue light. In human engineering, we have a saying, if you can't go through the door, try the window. Lyrale looked confused. Windows? What do windows have to do with life support? Marcus smiled as he opened his toolbox. It means there's always more than one way to solve a problem. You just have to think differently. He pulled out several strange human tools that the princess had never seen before. Tell me exactly how Zephyrian power systems work. For the next hour, Lyrale explained her people's technology while Marcus took apart both human and Zephyrian equipment. She watched in amazement as he studied each piece carefully, turning them over in his hands like puzzles. Your quantum crystals store energy in wave patterns, Marcus said, holding up a small blue crystal. My electrical systems need steady power flow. They're like, he paused, thinking, like music and mathematics. Both are real, but they work in completely different ways. Exactly. That's why they cannot work together. But what if we could translate between them? Marcus began connecting wires and patterns that made no sense to Lyrale. What if we could make the crystal's music sound like mathematics to the human systems? The princess shook her head. That's impossible. Thousands of the galaxy's best engineers have tried to connect different power systems. It always fails. Marcus looked at her with those calm brown eyes. Maybe they were trying too hard to make it perfect. Sometimes the best solutions are the messy ones. He disappeared under the control panel, and Lyrale could hear him working. With his tools, sparks flew out occasionally, but Marcus just kept working. The princess had never seen anyone so focused and determined. In Zephyrian culture, she said to his feet sticking out from under the panel, "We believe that when something is impossible, we should accept it with honor. Fighting against fate is considered childish. Humans must be very childish then," came Marcus's voice from under the panel. "We fight against impossible things every day." "Why?" Marcus slid out from under the panel, his face dirty but smiling. "Because sometimes the impossible things are wrong." He held up a strange device he had built from mixed human and Zephyrian parts. "Look at this." Lyrale stared at the device. It looked like nothing she had ever seen. Human wires were wrapped around Zephyrian crystals in ways that violated every engineering rule. She knew. "What is it?" "I call it a harmony bridge. It doesn't change the quantum energy into electrical power. Instead, it lets them work together, while staying different." Marcus connected the device to both the life support system and the Zephyrian power cell, like a translator who lets the people speak different languages, but still understand each other. Warning lights flashed as Marcus activated the device. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, some of the red lights turned yellow. "It's working," Lyrale gasped. "A little bit," Marcus said, frowning at the readings. "But not enough. We need more power, and I need to understand your systems better." He looked at her seriously. "Can you help me? I need you to explain how." Zephyrians think about energy. For the next 2 hours, they worked together. Lyrale was surprised by how different Marcus's mind worked compared to her own people. When she explained that Zephyrian crystals stored energy in perfect patterns, Marcus asked, "But what happens to the imperfect energy?" "It's wasted, of course, thrown away." "What if we could use that waste?" Marcus's eyes lit up with excitement. "What if the imperfect energy is exactly what human systems need?" Lyrale felt her mind spinning. "You want to use the garbage energy? The parts we throw away?" "One person's garbage is another person's treasure." Marcus began building another device. This one even stranger looking than the first. In human engineering, we use everything, even the broken pieces. As Marcus worked, Lyrale found herself thinking about things she had never considered before. Her people always looked for perfect solutions, clean and elegant. But Marcus seemed to find beauty in messy, complicated answers that somehow worked. "You think very strangely," she told him. "Thank you," Marcus said, not looking up from his work. "I didn't mean it as a compliment, I know, but I took it as one anyway." He grinned at her. "Humans are good at that too, finding good things in unexpected places." The air was getting thinner now. They had less than 3 hours left. Captain Vex and the guards were still unconscious, but their breathing was becoming more difficult. Marcus finished the second device and connected it to the first one. "This should capture the waste energy from your crystals and feed it to our life support." He looked at the princess, ready to try something that definitely shouldn't work. Lyrale nodded, even though she was scared. "Do it." Marcus activated both devices at once. For a terrifying moment, everything went dark. Then, one by one, the life support systems came back online. The air recyclers hummed to life, fresh. Clean air began flowing through the station. Green lights replaced the red warning signals. "It worked," Lyrale whispered in amazement. "It actually worked." Marcus wiped sweat from his forehead, leaving a clean streak through the dirt. "It worked. But this is just temporary. The power cells will run out eventually, and I don't have enough spare parts to build more harmony bridges." "How long do we have?" "Maybe 18 hours, 20 if we're lucky." Lyrale felt her hope fading again. "That's still not enough time for rescue ships to reach us." Marcus stood up and walked to a communication console. "Then we'll have to reach them first." He began typing commands into the human computer system. "There's an old emergency transmitter here. It's designed to send signals across long distances." "To who?" "There are no human ships in this sector." Marcus smiled, and this time his smile was full of mischief. "That's what your people think. but humans have a habit of showing up in places where we're not supposed to be. He activated the transmitter, and a powerful signal shot out into space, carrying a simple message. This is Marcus Chen on asteroid XK-47. I have injured aliens who need immediate medical help. Any human ships in range, please respond. Princess Lyrali stared at him. You really think someone will answer? I know they will, Marcus said confidently. Because that's what humans do. We help each other, even when it's dangerous or doesn't. Makes sense. As if to prove his point, the communication system crackled to life. Marcus Chen. This is Captain Sarah Rodriguez aboard the cargo ship Determination. We're changing course to reach you. Hold tight, humans are coming. Word count 1,200. Captain Sarah Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the cargo ship Determination, looking at the star map with worried eyes. Her ship was deep in Zephyrian space now, where humans were not welcome. But she didn't hesitate for even a second. How long? Until we reach Marcus, she asked her navigator, a young human woman named Lisa Park. 4 hours and 20 minutes at maximum speed, Captain, Lisa replied. But there's a problem. Long-range sensors show 3 Zephyrian patrol ships moving toward the asteroid. They'll reach Marcus before we do. Sarah's jaw tightened. Then, we go faster. Push the engines past safety limits if you have to. Captain, said her engineer, an older man named Tom Wright. If we damage the engines, we won't be able to help anyone. And if we're too slow, Marcus and those aliens will die. Sarah turned to face her crew of 12 humans. I know this is dangerous. We're breaking galactic law by being here. If the Zephyrians catch us, we could spend years in prison. Anyone who wants to leave can take an escape pod to the nearest neutral station. The crew looked at each other for a moment. Then Tom Wright spoke up. Captain, with respect. That's the stupidest thing you've ever said. Marcus is our friend. We don't abandon friends, agreed, said Lisa Park. Besides, this is what humans do. We help people. Sarah smiled with pride. Then let's go save them. All engines full power. Back on the mining station, Marcus was teaching Princess Lyrale how to help with the life support repairs. The Harmony Bridge was working, but it needed constant attention to keep running smoothly. Hold this crystal steady while I adjust the power flow, Marcus said, guiding her good hand to support a glowing blue Zephyrian power cell. Lyrale carefully held the crystal, feeling its warm energy pulse against her fingers. How do you know? This will work. You're changing the settings in ways that make no sense. I'm following my intuition, Marcus explained, making tiny adjustments to the human wires wrapped around the crystal. Sometimes the best solutions come from feelings, not from textbooks. Feelings, Lyrale looked confused, but engineering is about mathematics and physics. Feelings are unreliable. Marcus paused in his work and looked at her seriously. Maybe for your people. But humans learn to trust their feelings, along with their minds. Sometimes our hearts tell us things our brains haven't figured out yet. As if to prove his point, Marcus suddenly stopped working and tilted his head, listening. Something's wrong. The power flow just changed, but I can't see why on the instruments. Lyrale checked the Zephyrian displays. All readings show normal. Operation. The readings are lying. Marcus began checking connections by touch, running his hands along the cables. There, I can feel a loose connection here. The vibration is different. He was right. When he tightened the connection, the power flow smoothed out immediately. Lyrale stared at him in amazement. How did you know that? Experience. After working with machines for 20 years, you start to understand how they feel when they're happy or sick. Marcus smiled. Humans don't just use our brains to solve problems. We use everything. Heart, hands, eyes, ears, even our stomachs sometimes. Your stomachs? When something feels wrong in your gut, it usually means there's a real problem. Somewhere, Marcus showed her how to feel the vibrations in the power cables. Try it. Close your eyes and just listen to the machine. Lyrale closed her eyes and placed her hand on the Harmony Bridge. At first, she only felt metal and warmth. But slowly, she began to sense something else, a rhythm, like a heartbeat. The machine was alive in a way she had never imagined. I can feel it, she whispered, It's like music, exactly. Now you're thinking like a human engineer. Suddenly, the communication system activated. Captain Vex's voice came through, weak but awake. Princess, where are we? Lyrale rushed to the crashed ship while Marcus continued working. She found her captain sitting up, looking confused and in pain. The two guards were also beginning to wake up. Captain Vex, you're alive. She quickly explained what had happened, the crash, Marcus saving them, the life support repairs. Captain Vex listened with growing alarm. A human, Princess, you cannot trust these creatures. They are known to be selfish and dangerous. No, Lyrale said firmly. Marcus has been nothing but kind. He used his own supplies to heal us. He's working to save our lives without asking for anything in return. That makes him more dangerous, not less. Captain Vex struggled to stand. Humans never do anything without hidden reasons. He probably wants to hold you for ransom. Lyrale felt angry for the first time in her life. You're wrong about him. You're wrong about all humans. Before Captain Vex could reply, alarms began ringing throughout the station. Marcus's voice came over the intercom system. Everyone hold on. We have company, and they don't look friendly. On the bridge of Zephyrian Patrol ship Stormwing, Commander Krell studied the scanner readings with cold eyes. Confirmed. One human cargo vessel approaching asteroid XK-47 at high speed. They are violating Zephyrian space. Orders, sir, asked his weapons officer. Intercept and arrest them. If they resist, disable their engines. Commander Krell had no love for humans. In his opinion, they were pest species that should have been contained to their own small corner of the galaxy. And send a message to the other patrol ships, surround the asteroid. Make sure no humans escape. The three Zephyrian warships moved into attack formation, their powerful engines pushing them toward the mining station. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy the small human cargo vessel in seconds. But Commander Krell wanted prisoners, not wreckage. Live humans could be questioned about why they were in Zephyrian space. Dead humans couldn't answer questions? On the determination, Captain Sarah Rodriguez watched the Zephyrian ships closing in. They're faster than us and much better armed. We can't fight them. We don't have to fight them, said Tom Wright. We just have to reach Marcus first, and then what? They'll still rest us. Lisa Park looked up from her navigation console. Captain, I have an idea. It's crazy, but it might work. I'm listening. What if we don't try to outrun them? What if we talk to them instead? The bridge fell silent. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Talk to them. They're coming to rest us. Maybe, but they don't know why we're here yet. What if we tell them the truth? That we're on a rescue mission to save their own princess? Tom Wright shook his head. They'll never believe us. They might, Lisa insisted. Humans have never lied to the Zephyrians before. We've never had the chance. Our reputation is for being honest. Even when it hurts us, Sarah considered this. It was dangerous. If the Zephyrians didn't believe them, they would be captured for sure. But if they kept running, they would be captured anyway. All right, she decided. Open a communication channel to the lead Zephyrian ship. The screen flickered, showing Commander Krell's stern blue face. Human vessel. You are in violation of Zephyrian space. Surrender immediately or we will disable your ship. Sarah stood straight and looked directly into the camera. Commander, my name is Captain Sarah Rodriguez. We are not invaders. We are responding to a distress call from one of your own people. Princess Lyrale of the Zephyrian Empire. She is injured and trapped on asteroid XK-47. Commander Krell's expression didn't change. Princess Lyrale is on a diplomatic mission in secure space. Your information is false, sir. I'm transmitting the distress signal we received. You can verify it's genuine. Sarah nodded to Lisa, who sent the recording of Marcus's original message. For several long moments, Commander Krell studied the data. His face showed surprise, then concern. This signal, it mentions injured aliens requiring medical help. Yes, sir. Our engineer Marcus Chen has been keeping them alive, but they need proper medical attention. We're not here as invaders. We're here as rescuers. Commander Krell was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. Human Captain, If you are lying, you will face severe punishment. I understand, sir, but we're not lying. Humans don't abandon people who need help. Not even aliens. Not even people who don't like us. The Zephyrian commander's eyes narrowed as he studied Sarah's face, looking for signs of deception. What he saw instead was simple, honest determination. Very well, Captain Rodriguez. We will escort you to the asteroid. But if this is a trick, it's not a trick, Commander. It's just humans being human. Word count, 1,000 to 100. The human cargo ship Determination slowly approached the mining station, surrounded by 3 powerful Zephyrian warships. Captain Sarah Rodriguez kept her hand steady on the controls, but her heart was beating fast. One wrong move could start a space battle that would end badly for everyone. Zephyrian ships, this is Captain Rodriguez, she said into the communication system. We're beginning our approach to the asteroid. Our engineer will need to work with yours to safely transfer the injured people. Commander Krell's voice came back cold and suspicious. No humans will board our ships. We will handle the rescue ourselves. On the mining station, Marcus heard this conversation through the communication system. He looked at Princess Lyrale with concern. That won't work. The life support system I built needs constant attention. If I'm not here to maintain it, everyone will run out of air before the rescue is complete. Princess Lyrale understood immediately. She activated the communication system. Commander Krell, this is Princess Lyrale. The human engineer Marcus Chen has built a device that is keeping us alive. We need his help to complete the rescue safely. There was a long pause. Then Commander Krell's voice returned, sounding shocked. Princess, you are truly alive. We feared the worst when your ship disappeared. I am alive because of this human, Lyrale said clearly. He saved my life and the lives of my crew. Without his help, we would all be dead, Captain. Vex, who was listening nearby, looked unhappy. He whispered to the princess, Your Highness, you should not praise these creatures so highly. It makes us look weak. Lyrale turned to face her captain with fire in her eyes. What makes us look weak, Captain, is refusing help when we need it. What makes us look stupid is judging others without knowing them. Meanwhile, Marcus was working frantically to keep the Harmony Bridge stable. The power crystals were running low, and the mixed humans Zephyrian technology was becoming harder to control. The system is breaking down, he told Lyrale. I need spare parts from both ships, human and Zephyrian, and I need engineers from both species to help me. Lyrale immediately contacted Commander Krell again. Commander, we need a joint rescue operation. Human and Zephyrian engineers must work together, or we will all die. The silence from the Zephyrian ships lasted for several minutes. Finally, Commander Krell spoke, but his voice was troubled. Princess, I must report this situation to High Command. Working with humans, it has never been done before. Then maybe it's time to try something new, Lyrale replied. Aboard the warship Stormwing, Commander Krell faced a difficult decision. His orders were clear: arrest any humans found in Zephyrian space. But the princess herself was asking him to work with these humans. And if she died because he refused to cooperate, his career would be over. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Zera, approached him quietly. Sir, what are your orders? I don't know. Krell admitted. This situation was never covered in our training. Maybe we should focus on saving the princess first and worry about the humans later? Commander Krell nodded slowly. Contact the human ship. Tell them we will work together, but only to save our people. After that, they will be rested. Captain Sarah Rodriguez received the message and sighed. At least it's something. Tom, Lisa, get ready to beam over to the asteroid. Take the emergency medical kit and all our spare power cells. What about the arrest part? Ask Lisa Park. We'll deal with that when we get to it. Right now, saving lives is more important than staying out of prison. The human crew prepared their equipment while the Zephyrian ships did the same. Within an hour, both human and Zephyrian engineers were working together on the mining station. For the first time in galactic history, Marcus found himself in the strange position of being a teacher. The Zephyrian engineers were brilliant, but they had never seen technology like his Harmony Bridge. Meanwhile, the human engineers were amazed by the advanced Zephyrian equipment. "Your quantum crystals are incredible," said Tom Wright, examining a Zephyrian power cell. "The energy density is 10 times higher than anything we can make." "But your connection methods are fascinating," replied Chief Engineer Vorth, a tall Zephyrian with silver skin. "You make things work that should be impossible." Marcus smiled as he watched the two groups learning from each other. "That's the thing about impossible. It's just a word. It doesn't actually stop anything from working together." They built a new, stronger life support system using the best ideas from both species. The humans contributed creative problem-solving and flexible thinking. The Zephyrians contributed advanced technology and precise engineering. Princess Lyrale watched in amazement as barriers that had existed for centuries began to crumble. Humans and Zephyrians were not just working together. They were learning to respect each other's skills. "This is beautiful," she whispered to Marcus. "Why has this never happened before?" "Because your people and mine were never in the same place at the same time with a good reason to cooperate," Marcus replied. "Sometimes it takes a crisis to bring out the best in everyone." The rescue operation went smoothly. Captain Vex and the two guards were safely transferred to the Zephyrian medical ship, where their injuries could be properly treated. The mining station's life support was now stable and could run for days if needed. But as soon as the medical emergency was over, the mood changed. "Human crew, you are now under arrest for violating Zephyrian space," Commander Krell announced. "Prepare to be taken into custody." Princess Lyrale stepped forward, placing herself between the Zephyrian soldiers and the human crew. "No, Princess." Commander Krell looked confused. "I said no. These humans are under my personal protection. They will not be arrested." Captain Vex, who was feeling better after medical treatment, protested immediately. "Your Highness, you cannot protect criminals. They broke galactic law. They broke an unjust law to save lives." Lyrale replied firmly. "Including yours, Captain. Are you truly so ungrateful?" Commander Krell stepped forward carefully. "Princess, with great respect, you do not have the authority to override galactic law." Lyrale stood straighter, and for the first time, she looked like the future queen she was born to be. "Then I am making new authority. As heir to the Zephyrian throne, I formally declare these humans to be friends and allies of our empire." The silence that followed was so complete that everyone could hear the station's air recyclers humming in the background. "Princess." "Commander," Krell said slowly, "such a declaration requires approval from your mother, the Queen. Then contact her immediately. Tell her that her daughter has found something precious in the galaxy, a species that shows kindness to strangers, courage in danger, and wisdom in solving impossible problems." Lyrale looked at Marcus and his crew with genuine warmth. "Tell her that humans deserve our respect, not our suspicion." Captain Sarah Rodriguez stepped forward. "Your Highness, we appreciate your protection, but we don't want to cause problems for you or your people." "You're not causing problems," Lyrale replied. "You're solving them for the first time in my life. I've seen what cooperation between species can accomplish. I've learned that intelligence comes in many forms and that the heart can be just as important as the mind." She turned to address everyone, human and Zephyrian alike. "Today, we didn't just repair a life support system. We proved that different species can work together as equals. That's something the galaxy needs to see." Marcus smiled and held out his hand to Chief Engineer Vorth. "Partners?" The Zephyrian engineer looked at the offered hand for a moment, then shook it firmly. "Partners." As the two species worked together to secure the mining station, Princess Lyrale made a decision that would change galactic politics forever. She activated the communication system and sent a message directly to the Zephyrian homeworld. "Mother, I need to speak with you immediately. I have discovered something that will change everything we thought we knew about humans." Word count 1,000 to 100. 3 weeks later, Princess Lyrale stood before the great crystal throne of her mother, Queen Zelara of the Zephyrian Empire. The massive throne room was filled with the most powerful leaders in the galaxy, representatives from dozens of alien species who made up the Galactic Council. "My daughter, Queen Zalara said in her deep, musical voice. You have requested this emergency session to discuss humans. She spoke the word as if it tasted strange, explain why this minor species deserves the attention of the council. Lyrale looked out at the assembled alien leaders. She saw doubt and curiosity in their strange eyes. Some looked bored, others suspicious. None of them looked like they expected to be impressed. Honored members of the council, Lyrale began, her voice clear and strong. I stand before you today because a human saved my life. Not just my life, but the lives of my crew and the future of interspecies cooperation. She activated a holographic display that showed the mining station, the crashed ship, and Marcus working on his impossible machines. This is Marcus Chen, a human engineer. When my ship crashed on asteroid XK-47, he could have ignored us. He could have let us die and taken our supplies for himself. Instead, he used his own medical kit to heal strangers from a species he had never met. Ambassador Crix, a large insect-like creature from the hive worlds, clicked his mandibles dismissively. One act of kindness does not change what we know about humans. They are primitive and untrustworthy. Are they? Lyrale challenged. Or have we never bothered to truly understand them? She showed recordings of Marcus building the Harmony Bridge. This human created technology that our best engineers said was impossible. He combined Zephyrian quantum crystals with human electrical systems and made them work together. The council members leaned forward with interest. Ambassador Thex, a floating gas being from the Nebula Collective, spoke in his wisping voice. Combining incompatible technologies, this has been tried thousands of times. It always fails. Because we always approached it the wrong way, Lyrale replied. We tried to force one technology to become like another. Marcus found a way to let them work together while staying different. He calls it harmony bridging. Queen Zalara studied the holographic recordings carefully. Show us more, my daughter. Lyrale displayed footage of humans and Zephyrians working together on the mining station. When our rescue turned into a crisis, humans and Zephyrians worked as equals for the first time in galactic history. The results were extraordinary together. We accomplished in hours what neither species could have done alone in days. She paused and looked directly at her mother. Mother, I formally request that the Council grant full membership status to humanity and establish the first interspecies cooperative engineering institute. The throne room erupted in shocked voices. Council members spoke in dozens of languages, all expressing amazement and disbelief. Impossible, declared General Vorth of the Tridian Military Union. Humans lack the intelligence for full council membership, do they? Queen Zalara raised her hand for silence. Bring this human engineer before us. Let him speak for his people. Marcus. Chen had never imagined he would stand in the greatest throne room in the galaxy, surrounded by alien leaders who could decide the fate of his entire species. He wore his best clean uniform, but he still felt very small in the enormous crystal chamber. Human Marcus Chen, Queen Zalara said formally, you stand accused of being extraordinary. How do you answer this charge? Marcus smiled nervously. Your Majesty, I'm not extraordinary. I'm just a regular human who believes that all intelligent beings deserve help when they need it. Your technology suggests otherwise, said Ambassador Crix. Show us how you made incompatible systems work together. Marcus moved to a demonstration table that had been prepared with various alien technologies. It's not really about the technology, he explained. Picking up a Zephyrian crystal and a human power cell. It's about understanding that different doesn't mean incompatible. He began connecting wires and crystals as he spoke. Zephyrian energy systems are like beautiful music, complex, elegant, perfect. Human systems are like conversation, simple, direct, adaptable. Music and conversation are different, but they can exist in the same room without fighting. The council watched in fascination as Marcus built a small harmony bridge right before their eyes. The secret is not to change one thing into another. The secret is to create a space where both can be themselves while working toward the same goal. He activated the device, and it glowed with both the blue light of Zephyrian energy and the warm yellow light of human power. Cooperation, not conquest. Understanding, not domination. Ambassador Thex floated closer to examine the device. Remarkable. Our scientists have attempted this for centuries. Because they were trying to solve it with pure logic, Marcus replied. Respectfully, humans solve problems with logic and intuition together. We use our hearts as well as our minds. Hearts, General Vorth sounded confused. You make engineering decisions based on emotions. Not emotions exactly, Marcus said thoughtfully. More like wisdom that comes from caring about the outcome. When you really want something to work, when you care about the people it will help, you try harder and think more creatively. Princess Lyrali stepped forward. That's what humans brought to our crisis. They didn't just apply their knowledge, they applied their hope. The debate that followed lasted for hours. Some council members argued that humans were too unpredictable for membership. Others worried about the political implications of accepting a previously ignored species. Finally, Queen Zalara called for silence. My daughter nearly died on that asteroid. She was saved by a human who asked for nothing in return. Our engineers learned more in one day of cooperation with humans than they had in years of independent work. She stood from her crystal throne, her royal robes shimmering in the light. The council will vote, all in favor of granting full membership to humanity and establishing the Interspecies Cooperative Engineering Institute. One by one, hands, tentacles, claws, and other appendages rose throughout the chamber. The vote was not unanimous, but it was decisive. The motion passes, Queen Zalara announced. Marcus Chen, you are hereby appointed as the first director of the Interspecies Cooperative Engineering Institute. Princess Lyrali will serve as Zephyrian liaison. Marcus felt overwhelmed by the honor. Your Majesty, I accept this position, but I want to make one thing clear. This success isn't just about humans. It's about what happens when different species choose to trust each other. 6 months later, Marcus stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, the first space station built using combined technologies from multiple species. Through the transparent walls, he could see ships from dozens of worlds docked at the station's ports. Princess Lyrali, now queen after her mother's retirement, joined him at the viewing window. Look at what we built together, she said with satisfaction. The station was beautiful in a way that no single species could have created alone. Zephyrian crystal technology provided clean energy. Human intuitive engineering made systems flexible and reliable. Tritium metallurgy created incredibly strong structures. And Hive World biotechnology made everything self-repairing. It's amazing what happens when people stop seeing differences as problems and start seeing them as opportunities. Marcus said. Queen Lyrali smiled. You know, when I first met you, I thought humans were simple creatures. Now I realize that what I mistook for simplicity was actually wisdom. And I learned that being different doesn't mean being enemies, Marcus replied. It just means having more possibilities to explore. As they watched, a new ship arrived at the station, a vessel built using the latest human Zephyrian hybrid technology. It was sleek and powerful, but also warm and welcoming, like the friendship that had inspired it. What's next for the Institute? Queen Lyrali asked. Marcus grinned with the same enthusiasm that had driven him to save strangers on a mining asteroid. Everything. We're just getting started. Outside, the stars shone down on a galaxy where cooperation had replaced fear, and where the simple human belief in helping others had changed everything. The impossible had become possible, one friendship at a time.